Hey, hello everyone. How you doing today? This is Jay coming back at you from K and J with 5HT channel on YouTube. Yeah, well, we deal with world health, academia, and times. Those are most of the topics that we deal with. Sometimes we cross the board. Sometimes we cross it up, mix it up. Sometimes we stay focused on just maybe the one topic. But in most cases, it's like a gumbo, like you throw it all in a pot, and most of it end up being world health, academia, and times. Although I may not indicate when I'm actually speaking on which specific topic, but if you listen to the content well, you can pretty much get and hear how it crosses over. We'd like to thank you again. Like I say, since our last post, we've been dealing with Mr. Abraham here. We continue to deal with him just a little bit, but we're about to cross on over. We want to deal with the part of Abraham and Sarah making a decision that actually came back to pretty much haunt them. Yeah. And then, like I say, even with them, we're dealing with truths, man. And they had to deal with truths too, where, the truth, it hurts. The truth is hard. The truth helps. It's healthy and it heals. That's what we do here. So we're going to talk about Abram and Sarah. We know that the Most High made a promise that Abram was his seed was going to be remembered throughout generations. And, they both kind of had a problem with that being kind of up in age. So they had a solution, or they thought they had a solution, I would say. And the solution that they came up with didn't work out too well. From the beginning, I'll say, it didn't work out too well. It was Sarah. If you know, she had a bond's lady, a bond's servant or lady, Hagar. She was an Egyptian, and when God made the promise to Abraham and Sarah, it was kind of difficult for them to really grasp it. So Sarah had this wonderful ideal. Her ideal was to say, I tell you what, we're gonna help them out a little bit. We helping the Most High out a little bit. Since I know I'm barren, you know I'm barren, he know I'm barren. Maybe he meant for you to maybe deal with one of my bondswomen. So I pick Hagar. This is what you do. You go into Hagar, and maybe she'll conceive, and maybe that'll be the promise that the Most High has gifted us with. However, didn't quite turn out that way. It had a lot of twist to it. And as you know, as we continue to say, Abraham is still in the midst of dealing and all of his doings in these place that where you got these wicked and rebellious people. And like I say, not far removed from the Tower of Babel and dealing with his visit in Egypt. And now he's back and forth, kind of like us in our life a lot. Whether you want to admit it or not, we be back and forth a lot just as well, just as Abram. And caught between decisions, man, torn between decisions and trying to figure out which way to go, what to do and what not to do, which way not to go. So I want to start right here in Genesis 16 as we jump right in. Abram, anyway, he agreed with Sarah because it was Sarah's idea for Abram to go into Hagar, and they did. And Genesis 16:15 said, and Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 80 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abraham. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was birthed. That's something. And now we go into Genesis 17 chapter. It say, and when Abram was 99 years old, when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Now he just introduces himself to Abram by name. Just call me the Almighty God. That's what he preferred at this particular time, because Abram still is dealing in his struggles. The Most High knows it. So Genesis 17:17, Abram said something, because the Most High God was telling him the same thing. You're going to have this son. I'm going to give you a seed, and your descendants is going to be like the dust or the stars of the heavens, man. It's going to be numerous, your descendants. And Abram just couldn't believe it. He couldn't quite grasp it. So what he figured was the Most High had to be talking about Ishmael, this son that he bare with Hagar, the Egyptian. He got to be talking about Ishmael. So 17:17, Genesis 17:17 said, Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old? And Abram said unto God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. See, he's going to introduce Ishmael. He's going to suggest Ishmael again, which was him and his wife. It was he and his wife ideal to do what they did to conceive Ishmael. Yeah. So we're going to go into Genesis 18:1. It said, And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. So the Lord has appeared unto Abram in the plains of Mamre. Mamre is in the Hebrew meaning, it actually means rebellious and bitter. Same attitude. Rebellious people, bitter. So this is where Abram is right now. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran and met them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. 3 men that walked up on Abram. Now, as you know, everybody that knows, these 3 men were messengers of the Most High. A lot of people say it was 2 messengers and one of them was God himself. I'm not going to be dealing with that right now today. I'm going somewhere else, because that's a whole lot. And we're just going to keep moving. So after he see these 3 men, he decided he'll treat the 3 men. He wanted to sit them down and have his wife make a meal for them so they can eat, because he's really actually looking for their blessings, man. That's the way they treated people. They had a lot of hospitality in those days and times, even though they were in a place of unrest, I'll say. A lot of wickedness, a lot of things happening, places that really in turmoil, and Abram just was excited to see. He knew that these men were not average men. Okay, so now let's read 18:9. This is the message that they're bringing. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife, or Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. That's interesting. And lo, Sarah, thy wife, shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abram and Sarah were old and well stricken in age. And it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. They wasn't active anymore. They wasn't active. 18:12 reads, Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also? Therefore Sarah laughed within herself. She laughed within herself. Okay. 13 said, and the Lord said unto Abram, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? He want to know. What you know, so she in there laughing. She think it's funny. And then 14 says, oh boy, we all heard this before. Is anything too hard for the Lord or the Spirit of God? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life. And Sarah shall have a son. He repeated himself again. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laugh not, for she was afraid. And he said, nay, but thou didst laugh. See, that's why I continue to say that Abraham and Sarah was both still struggling. Sarah and Abraham were both still struggling, living in a place where rebellious people, everybody doing their own thing. It's all right to lie. It's all right to do all this stuff. She said right there and said she didn't laugh. I didn't laugh. Yes, you did. Sound like a kid. Sound like something a kid would say, wouldn't it? I didn't laugh. Yes, you did. I heard you. So, now, here we go. Where I was going with this is I'm reading now, and I just want you guys to bear with me because we'll reach back. I'm just reading, and I'm reading scripture verbatim, and I know sometimes it could be something when you just listening to a person read, but I have this most of 21 I want to read, and then we're going to start diving into the topic. We're going to start dissecting, not only in Sarah times, but in today's time where we are. So I'm in Genesis 21 now. So here it is. Genesis 21:1. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord, or the Spirit of God, did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, and at the time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. Now we got Isaac. Remember Ishmael. So if he had Ishmael when he was 86, now he's right at 99 or 100. Okay, so now that'll make Ishmael roughly 13 years old, between 13, 14 years old, and here come Isaac. We got ourselves a blended family. Let's see how this worked. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. So now he was 100. Ishmael roughly 14. Ishmael, a young lad now, a little teenager. He's well aware and alert of things and what's been going on and what he's experienced and heard and saw within Abraham's herds and his people that was with him. So Ishmael has a little brother now, Isaac. And Sarah said, God has made me to laugh. I'm on the 6th verse now, Genesis 21:6. And Sarah said, God has made me to laugh, so that all that hear would laugh with me. And she said, Who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. Oh man. Sarah feeling some type of way now. Man, she at first she laughed and she thought it was funny. Now she feeling some type of way. Is that all praises to the Most High? She feeling good about herself. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Now Isaac has grown and he's weaned. Now if you do Jewish history, a child normally get weaned between this. I know this is not going to sound right with you guys, but I know in this day and time we got everything figured out. They didn't know anything. I get it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So a baby was usually weaned between the age of 2 and 4. Typically, maybe sometimes 5. It could get there, but between 2 and 4 was the average time before the mother weaned the child from suckle or from the breast. Okay, so now let's do some more math here. We're gonna keep up with the math. So when you hear these sermons and stuff at the building on Sunday, you know, you'll pretty much be more aware now of what's really going on than just doing surface scratching. Okay. If Ishmael is pretty much 13 to 14 years old when Isaac is birthed, now Isaac has been weaned. Let's give it 2, even if we gave it 2 years, we would say Ishmael might be 15 or 16. If we gave it the 4 years, then we can say that Ishmael might be 17 or 18. Now, in today's time, we consider 18 grown, although you can't do all the stuff that 21-year and grown folks do. But, you know, we consider it grown. So now Isaac is well down the line as far as age. He will be considered one of our today's generation alpha. I'm just saying as far as age. So now that means he's alert. He's aware. He's aware of his little brother. He is also aware of any changes has been made, or of any actions has been changed toward him. And between the new babe that belongs to Sarah and Abraham, and then he being the son of Abraham through Hagar, a bondswoman. What does she mean? She's just an Egyptian. Egypt again. Right, here we go. So, when the child grew and was weaned, now we had verse 9, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Mocking? Like what? Like how? Maybe where do you think it came from? I don't know. You know about those blended families. You know about those blended families, don't you? Blended families sometimes are rough. I can tell you that from experience, man. We don't quite understand how to deal with blended families, although statistically over 40% of Americans today live in blended families. That means one of the parents have children that don't belong to the other, or both have children that has to all come together, which is very, very difficult to do. It might be exciting for both of the adults having met and being in a relationship again, and then having a feeling that, okay, maybe this person is accepting my kids and vice versa. And now you want to bring the kids in, but no one really asked the kids' opinion. You know, you're just going to go on with life. The kid has no opinion. Isaac Isaac had no opinion. Isaac, he didn't have a. I mean, what did he have as far as being birthed through Sarah? What did he have to do with anything? And then Ishmael, it wasn't his ideal for Abraham to sleep with his mom, and now he's around, and he's been known to be the son, the only son at that moment. Probably got a lot of attention. Yeah. So now what do we do with this blended family? Yeah, today's time blended family too. What do we do with it? You have what I've told you have the corrective parent, and then you have the parent that should be the contributory. The corrective parent, if I heard it right, would be the parent that's actually the biological or the primary parent of the kids. So those are the corrective parents. Now the other parent or the step parent, whether it be mom or dad, you're supposed to be the contributory parent, meaning y'all come together and talk about stuff. But when it comes down to laying the law, they've said that it's better for the corrective parent to do that before the child to really accept it, because at this time you got the contributory parent trying to fit in. Now there's a change that's been made. Now you know how change is about us. Changes make us uncomfortable. So whenever you have a blended family and they're coming together, that's an uncomfortable feeling. It may not be uncomfortable for the two adults because they're so excited about it being in this new relationship and we're going to make this thing work. But it can be some uncomfortability for the kids. See, some people have to learn and grow through that through experience. Because in my experience, it was really tough, because sometimes I have flashback of my own, and I'm in a whole another state. I can't do and say and be like I were to this blended family. So were they feeling those vibes from me? What kind of respect was I looking for? Was I trying to go in with being a disciplinary from the beginning? That doesn't work. It was a friend of mine that I was trying to tell him all the time, man, you got great ideas and everything you're saying is right and good. It's good for the house. It's good for the family. But you the new kid on the block. You just can't come in ruling with an iron fist. You can't come in being a disciplinary. You got to get an emotional bond and an attachment with these kids to gain respect. Or either you're not going to get any respect at all. So you deal with the emotional part and bonding first before you come with the disciplinary. Because in most cases, when you come in with the disciplinary and you're trying to get the kids to react right away, it's some kind of, they suffer. When I say they suffer, I'm meaning like it's something gonna come against them. If you don't do this and if you don't do that, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. And see, now you making a kid now coming to a place that's already uncomfortable, new people, and now you got this new voice giving them orders. It doesn't work that way, man. Trust me, I know. And then sometimes you can even be understanding and giving and caring and be that contributory parent, which I've done. And it's still even a struggle and a challenge with that. Because in the same time, in the back of my mind, sometimes I'm thinking about my own. And then I got this guilt feeling of rejection. And then sometimes you can be getting rejected from that blended family. Is that what Ishmael was feeling? Is that why he was mocking? If all of a sudden that's why he started marking, because he saw Isaac getting all the attention, maybe at that particular time, him and Sarah, we don't know if they had a bonding or not. We don't, here we go again. Scripture doesn't write about that. We just making sense out of stuff in real life time. And you don't have, whatever. But I'm just saying it doesn't write about that. That's a question I'm asking. So did she ever bond with him? Or did she come with disciplinary action right off the top? Did Hagar have any say-so over her own son? Did Abraham intervene anywhere? Did he stand up, that man of wisdom, the father of faith, the one whom God has introduced himself and called him and set him aside? although he was still messy, just like he do us, and we still be messy in our mess. And we love to say obedience is better than sacrifice. Okay, well, sometimes we rather sacrifice than be obedient. So my question is with this blended family thing. And like I say, remember now, over 40% of Americans are working in blended families. Here we go all the way back. Just a little bit post-flood, we got Abraham and Sarah dealing in a blended family. We got these two kids involved that had nothing to do with the decision that were made. But now how do they operate? The Most High has made a promise. He has made a promise to Abraham, and he made a promise to Sarah. So far, both promises has been kept. Now, that other thing that Sarah and Abraham decided to do that caused Ishmael to be a part of this situation, they did that on their own. That was their own decision. So now we got a blended family. Now we got to work within it. We're going to see how this thing going to work. Is Sarah looking for some type of respect from Ishmael now? Did she turn her back on Ishmael once she birthed Isaac? What's up in the blended family? Especially in my neighborhood. I know we got a lot of blended families. It ain't as glamorous as you think it is. I'm talking to both now. I'm talking to both the male and the female. You know, let's talk to you. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you, millennials from 1981 to 1996. Let me talk to you, Gen Zers from 1997 to 2012. Let me talk to you. And then I probably can go and throw the Gen X in there, 1965 to 1980. And baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. I can talk to you too. It still happens. I know that from experience. But we talking about a blended family now. How do you make it work? Whose decision is it? Have the child been consulted? Have the child feeling been considered? Not saying that you're supposed to go and get their permission. I'm talking about consideration now. I'm talking about being ushered into this uncomfortable place now. Ishmael was entered into an uncomfortable place when Isaac more than likely was birthed. Because now Sarah total attention is on her own. This from me, from my lawns. This is for me and my husband. You see how they said Hagar the Egyptian? They keep calling her Hagar the Egyptian. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian. It didn't see there? Sarah didn't say her son. Blended family, where are we? Sarah did not claim Ishmael. At that point, she didn't even claim it. It's right there. It just said it. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, and then put that title on the back of it. That probably wasn't a good title for her. How did she get, and by the way, she ended up with Abraham and Sarah, and she from Egypt. Oh, is that something that Abraham and Sarah decided to bring from Egypt with them when they did their tenure in Egypt? You don't want to talk about Egypt, but hey, what you gonna do? Blot it out? It's right here. Okay, let's keep it going. We talking about a blended family now. We talking about now a nation that God had promised Abraham through Sarah, through Sarah lines, from Abraham and Sarah, through her. This is the promise that was made. So we're going to keep reading and see in this blended family, does now, quote unquote, the stepchild get, how does this stepchild get treated now? Now, remind you, this Abraham's son, this is blood son. Sarah is the one that's not claiming him now. Do we do that in the blended family today? That's not my kid. You not my mama. You not my daddy. Huh? How we doing this? How we get this? The kid had nothing to do with it. But now all of a sudden all the focus is on the kid, but everything's supposed to come and be your way. Okay, let's see what happens with my man Ishmael. I'm telling you, been around 13, 14 years as the only son. Now we got another one. And Ishmael roughly, like I said again, could be 17 or 18. And you know how they do babies. Isaac the baby, they probably treating him like who knows what. Now they had this celebration because he got weaned. And when you wean the kid back in those days, they used to have this big celebration. And that's what Abraham did. They had a celebration. We already read through that. It was a celebration. The day that he was weaned, they had a celebration. But now, all of a sudden, Sarah has a problem because she thinks that Ishmael is mocking. Ishmael got a problem. That's what she said. So, verse 10, I'm at 21 and 10. We're going to get back to read. Wherefore, she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son. Listen at that. For the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Sarah, it was your idea. It was your idea. So the kid get punished for that? Even Hagar didn't have a choice in the matter. When you told her that she had to sleep with Abraham, she had to do it. What are we doing here? What are we doing? See, right now I'm just in a place now because I'm reading and I'm not going in a lot of spiritual sense right now. I'll say because I want to make it plain for us today, and I want to make it practical in real time today with the blended family. What you doing? You finna throw the kid up under the bus now, huh? Oh, and while we doing it, this bondwoman, she was yours. You the one brought her from Egypt. You brought her from Egypt. Okay, that's how we do. That's how we do. But now let's just keep reading it and see how this thing continues to rival. It's even something for me to read, but let's keep reading. I'm at Genesis 21 and 11. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. Now Abraham caught in between. See, Abraham really supposed to be what? Which parent he's supposed to be? Abraham really supposed to be the corrective parent because that's his son. That's his blood son. Sarah's supposed to be the contributory parent. What is she contributing to? Although it still was her idea, I tell you what she contributing to. Chaos. She done made a blended family chaos. She done said, no. This born woman and her son got to go. What happened to the contributory parent? What happened to the emotional bond? Blended family, what happened? The emotional bond that gains the respect of the kid. Sarah, did you ever have an emotional bond with Ishmael to where he respected it? And then whatever the marking you thought he was doing, it probably wouldn't have happened. But who knows, he still was a child. Right at adulthood, though. Old enough to know that you probably was tripping, Sarah. And then you want disciplinary action. Disciplinary action first don't gain the respect. You got to get the emotional bond. Disciplinary action should be done later by the step parent if it's going to be done. But she was slick with us, though. She went to Abraham, and now Abraham, he grievous because he caught in the middle. And he said this thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. Yeah, now you got your bondswoman and your wife fighting, Mr. Abraham. 21 and 12 saying, God said unto Abraham, okay, let me come in to be the referee, which I had nothing to do with this, Abraham. It was you and Sarah's ideal. But here you go. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, which he talked about Ishmael, and because of thy bondswoman, which is Sarah's servant, and all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Okay, everything that Sarah has said, go ahead and listen to her, Abraham. Because if you haven't heard a woman scorned, and I tell you the truth. Everybody has heard that word, a woman scorned. And so now I am thinking that this woman was scorned. Mm-hmm. She was scorned. You don't want to be around that type of woman. Hagar, Ishmael, you guys really don't want to be around Sarah. It was her ideal. I know it. Ishmael, man, is something that you get placed in this position. And Hagar, I feel for you too because it's your son. We're talking about the blended family. Think about it, people, because there's a lot of people that might even see this post and listen to it. You might be in a blended family. Trust me, nothing new under the sun. We're talking about chosen people of the Most High, caught up in a blended family situation and don't know how to handle it. Okay, let's keep reading. The Most High to say, Isaac is going to be called your seed. So listen to Sarah. Go ahead, get them out of there. Genesis 21:13. And also the son of the bondwoman, I will make a nation because of thy seed. That's the part we'll concentrate a little bit on. Also the son of the bondwoman. Remember Hagar, the Egyptian. I'm going to make a nation out of him because he's your seed. That means that Ishmael, and a lot of people don't know it. Yeah, just like Jacob had 12 sons, Ishmael had 12 sons. It doesn't get talked about a lot because it don't mean nothing, especially in, I know y'all think I'm picking, but I got to say it because it's the only way I can, it's the only way I can separate the two and distinguish what and really get in what I'm trying to convey here. Well, now let me go ahead and say it. The reason you probably don't know a lot about Ishmael, you wouldn't know a lot about Ishmael in the Christian church or in the Jewish synagogue because you remember I told you about Abraham. Everybody claims him. Judaism claims him. Christianity claims him. Islam claims him. If you want to hear about the Ishmael story, you have to go to the mosque. You have to listen to the Muslims from Islam. They'll tell you about Ishmael because this is where the nations begin to divide because of this blended family and because of Sarah and Abraham's decision to help the Most High out with a promise that he made. They're going to help him out and messed everything up like we always do. So the Most High said, because of, and also the son of the bondwoman, I will make a nation because of he is thy seed. And Abram rose up early in the morning and took bread, word, and a bottle of water, doctrine, and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, the weight, and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. Get out of the camp. You and Ishmael, I know that's my son, been here almost 18 years. Let's just say 17, okay. It's time for y'all to go. Ishmael, dad. No, you gotta go, son. You gotta go. It ain't working out. My wife, man, she ain't with this no more. She used to do it, she ain't with it no more. Y'all gotta go. It's too much of a problem. It's causing a problem in here in the camp. Blended family. Because of wrong and bad decisions. What's the deal? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Okay. So she wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, the wilderness. Wilderness mainly be, spiritually, like we always say, Hebrew meaning, we'll say a place of sin. But the Hebrew meaning of Beersheba itself is the well of an oath. She's out there in the place of sin, but it's the well of an oath is out there waiting on her. An oath that has to be made. Remember, she's an Egyptian. She probably had a totally different belief. Abraham all over the place. He probably don't have nowhere to believe the Most High right now, or have nowhere to believe his father and those idols, or have nowhere to believe what he learned in Egypt, or halfway nowhere to believe when he was between Bethel and Hai. He don't know what to believe. Abraham just all over the place, man. But he's still trying to listen to the Most High. He's still trying. He's trying. Same struggle we have today. I know y'all be thinking I'm beating up. I'm not beating up. I'm just keeping it real. I'm reading scriptures for what it's worth and seeing it as it is. I'm putting myself back in that place with them at that particular time. I'm not making them no God. I'm not making Abraham a God. Abraham was a mere man, just like we are people. Okay? Allegorical, parables, metaphors. That's what we read. That's what we're reading. Good message, great message, yes, all the time. Good life lessons. Because right now we seeing what a blended family look like and what it shouldn't look like and how not to fault the kid and how to be understanding to a kid. How you can fit in a place where you can be the corrective parent, and then also the other parent can be the contributory parent. That can fit on both sides because both sides might bring kids into the mix. So then the corrective parent is the primary or the biological parent of those kids on both sides. And then the contributory parent is the step parent of those kids on both sides. And when you contribute, you're going to get together, you're going to talk about it, you're going to discuss it, you're going to come up with a good enough plan that's good for the overall health of the entire family. Emotional, mental, all of that. And don't always be so quick to be a disciplinary contributory parent. Hold back, gain the respect of that kid first. Get an emotional bond with that kid. If there's things that's not going right, you two get together and discuss it and still bring the kid in it. The kid is in a strange place. The kid's in a change has been made. The kid is uncomfortable. Just like when change is made in your life, you become uncomfortable. It's a lot of stuff I say on these posts to probably make you uncomfortable. So do you get the feeling? All right. But by making you uncomfortable, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. But now what we have to do is we got to come up with a solution. How we can fix this uncomfortable feeling that I'm having. What do we do about this? Okay, a lot of people say shake it. No, sometimes you need to embrace it. Shake it off. No, sometimes you need to embrace it because you need to be uncomfortable. That's when you at your best anyway, a lot of times. When you think you got it made, you sitting over, man, anything can come across. Let's keep it moving. So he done sent them away. She's in the wilderness of Beersheba. Sinful place, but it's the well of an oath. And now 21 and 15 said, and the water was spent in the bottom. That's it. That's gone. Where she had to live off, whatever good knowledge was given, it's gone. She out here in the desert. And she cast the child under one of the shrubs. Now she done threw the child up under the shrub. And like I say, back in my time when I was in the building, I'm thinking this is like a little arm baby. But now, we're talking about a lad now, pretty much 17 years old. We ain't talking about no little bitty baby. And she went and sat down over against him a good ways off. Well, she could still see him, but she's a ways off. And then it say, as it were a bow shot, like a bow and arrow. About as far as the bow and arrow could go, she done separated herself from Ishmael. Now look at what she's doing. Ishmael already been kicked out of the camp, already been rejected by his father, and now here go his mama. Man, that kid man probably was messed up. That kid all over the place because of grown folks. Yeah, grown folks. Grown folks. Grown folks that know the Lord. Because Abraham and Sarah, they knew the Lord. I'm talking about grown folks that know the Lord. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you. Yeah, me. I've been there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been there. I was that person. It didn't work out well for me. Made a lot of bad decisions. Some that live with me right now today. Elder son don't understand no decision that I made. Not one. He just doesn't understand the decision that I made. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So that's something that I have to live with and maybe die with. Here go Abraham. Here go Sarah. Here go Hagar. And poor Ishmael. But the Most High say, look, I'm going to make a nation out of him too. That's the only hope. She done set the kid over somewhere to die. That's what she did. I'm in 21 and 16. It said, and she went and sat down over against him a good ways off, as if it was a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. She set him somewhere to die, his mama. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. That's all she had left in her. That's all she could do. This blended family thing tore up, like we say, from the floor up. People that's already got kids, getting into relationships, man. Look, this thing is real. It's real as it can be. Because these kids had nothing to do with their relationship that you and this other person chose. Kids ain't got nothing to do with that. And a kid gonna be what a kid is. But at this time, Ishmael was a lad. But like I said, what kind of emotional bond did Sarah or even Abraham have with Ishmael? I don't know. But it was easy for Abraham to put him out. Yeah, that's right. People that know the Lord in the blended relationship. It was easy for Abraham to put him in, throw his son in the wilderness. I'm going to do it because that's what my wife said. Yeah. And God heard the voice of the lad. This is 21 and 17 Genesis. And God heard the voice of the lad. And the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, what dwelleth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the lad where he is. God heard the voice of the lad. He didn't hear you crying. You done stood over there and threw him over there to die. God heard the voice of the lad. The lad had nothing to do with it. Ishmael had nothing to do with the decision that was made by grown people. So God, the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High God, he heard the lad. That's whose voice he heard, not yours. You can sit somewhere all the way over here. You probably can't even hear him. You don't want to see him. I don't want to see the death of him, but you know he's going to die, so you left him there to die, Hagar. So now, I know I'm at you too, but it is what it is. Genesis 21 and 18. Arise, lift up the lad and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. See there? Go over there. Embrace that kid. Give him that emotional love. He had nothing to do with what's going on. Abraham set both of y'all up to die, and you had no choice, but now you're going to sit over here and it's going to go down. But get back over there with that kid. That's right. Hold him in your hand. The power. I'm going to make a great nation out of him. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Here we go. That well and that water, that knowledge, that understanding. Open her understanding. That's what he did. And God opened her eyes, opened her understanding, and she saw a well of knowledge and wisdom. And she went and filled the bottle with water and gave the lad to drink. Now she go and share that with him. Give him some hope. She's sharing with him. Yeah, partake of this. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. Here we go. He's still in the place of sin, though. He grew, but he's still in the place of sin. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. I know she did. She went back to her place. She's an Egyptian. My son gonna marry an Egyptian woman. Ain't finna fool with these people out here. These people something else, man. They lay with you, have kids, and put you out. We become a blended family, and then wasn't a blended family 4 years. They didn't even work a good 2 to 4 years. When she weaned Isaac, 2 to 4 years, maybe 5 at the max, but 2 to 4 years between that time, they ain't even been a blended family that long. And now Ishmael got to go. What's up, blended family? What's up, blended family? For real though, y'all get me? I just been doing a lot of reading. I needed y'all to see something because he did what he said he was going to do. The Most High, he blessed Ishmael because Ishmael. I tell you what, the spiritual meaning of Ishmael name in Hebrew, it means God will hear, and God heard the lad. God heard the lad. Abraham being in memory, rebellious, bitter, just all over the place. You know, just all over the place. So I'm talking to my Gen Xers. I'm talking to my millennials. I'm talking to my Gen Zers. Blended families, man. It's a real deal. We see it right here. Right here in the confines of the book we call the Holy Bible, the Scriptures. And I'm going to read Genesis and 25. I'm going to show you what the Most High did, and we're going to be working our way out of here. Say, now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son. I'm in 25 and 12, by the way. Genesis 25 and 12. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. They had to make sure y'all know who we talking about. His son by the Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their name. Remember, he said he was going to make a great nation out of Ishmael. Ishmael had 12 sons. I'm just showing you where you can start out by finding a little bit about them. It would be Genesis 25, and you can read from 13 down to 15, and it'll tell you about the sons of Ishmael. And then 16 say, these are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their town and by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137. He lived to be 137 years old, and he gave up the ghost and died, and was gathered unto his people, which probably was in Egypt. And they dwell from Havilah and Shur, that is before Egypt, as thou goest toward Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. Yeah, his people, Egyptians, Egypt, his mother's people. Remember, even in the blended family, this what happened. In a blended family, you got a set of kids that's about to be introduced to a new person, and then this new person got family. Now these kids got to be also introduced to this new person's family. So now you're going to have potential in-laws or a new grandmother or a new grandfather. And then you got to try to treat them with the same respect as you revere your own. That's a difficult thing to do for a kid. But it's easy for the adult because they're the one that's all man, like, ooh, we in this new relationship. It is so beautiful, girl. I met this dude. Man, I met this girl. Man, she was something else. Girl, he was the best. Man, she accepting all my kids. Girl, she accept my boys, my daughters. Oh, man, what a wonderful person. And the kids sitting there like, wait a minute. You haven't asked me whether I even like the person or not. I don't even have an emotional bond with this person. And then now I got to get introduced to this new family over here. That's uncomfortable. That's change. That's a big change. Ishmael had to deal with all of that. Ishmael had to suffer all of that. It was none of his fault. But I can tell you what, Ishmael grew and he became to be a pretty well-known person. And I can tell you who will tell you about it. Go to the mosque. They'll tell you about Ishmael. And if you want to learn about Isaac, then you keep going to the building or go to the synagogue, because the Christians, they accept Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Muslims, they accept Ishmael and Abraham, Ishmael, and Esau. Let me say that again. The Judaism and Christianity, they accept Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Islam and Muslims, they accept Abraham, Ishmael, and Esau. That's the split. That's the divide. Two nations divided. Was it a blended nation? Yeah. If you go back in time, you'll see they really pretty much was blended, because, Esau did a few things that made sure that you knew that he dealt with his uncle Ishmael, Yeah. It's all right here. And what you'll do is you'll find, like, most of the Muslims are pretty much Arabs. They all know about Ishmael. Them Palestinians and all that stuff, Saudi Arabia, because that's the area that they mostly reside in. Saudi Arabia, today's Saudi Arabia, is biblical time Midian. Don't you remember Moses went to Midian? Have you ever heard of the Midianites? Well, Midian is present-day Saudi Arabia. So the Ishmaelites, they had close ties with Saudi Arabia. I'm gonna give you today's names, because that's the only thing that's gonna be relevant to you. Because when you look at the biblical names, you think they're gone. They're not gone anywhere. Like I said, they just been renamed and reclaimed by a certain group of people. So anyway, most of the Ishmaelites, they have close ties with Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates. These are the primary settlement places that the Ishmaelites dwell. They dwell occupied in these spaces and these areas. It's all within the same confines, though. Remember the Mideast? And then Ishmaelites was known to go as far as in North Africa as well. So they were still blending, but that divide came. And the hatred came, and it is prevalent today. And when I say it's prevalent today, I mean it is really, really, really bad. Cousins, far cousins removed. All the same people. Just toe up. Ham, Japheth, Shem. All these descendants, wicked people from certain sides, trying to get to know the Most High. Understand the Spirit of God as it speaks into our hearts and mind from the inside. Well, I'm going to close this out right here. We're going to talk some more about Ishmael. We're going to go a little bit more into Ishmael. But I just wanted to deal with a blended family situation today, especially in today's time, because the blended family, like I say, over 40% of Americans are in blended families. And I can tell you most of them are horrific. Because the parenting is you're expecting things that's just not going to happen, and especially overnight. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Even if your ideas are good and great, you just can't go in contributory parent. You cannot go in ruling with an iron fist. You just can't do it. Kids are involved. Ishmael got ruled with an iron fist. He got kicked out the camp for something he had absolutely nothing to do with. And the same thing goes on in blended families today. So our millennials, our Gen Zers, and our Xers in these blended families, understand what you're getting into. Have those kids involved. Know who is the corrective parent and who is the contributory parent. Talk about these things. Bring the kids in it. Make the kids a part of it. Contributory parents, sometimes you may not like it because the kid is not coming or taking into you like you desire. Find some things y'all might have in common. Think about it. Be the adult in the room. You know what I'm saying? Win the emotion of those kids, and then you'll get the respect. Don't go in ruling with an iron fist, just being the disciplinary. Those kids are not going to like you at all. They're not going to get along with you at all. And it's going to make the corrective parent or the biological parent have a real problem. Because Abraham was grievous when Sarah was going through that mess and said, look, get that woman out of here and her son, get them out of here. Abraham caught up in the middle. That's what happened when you're in blended families. If you don't do this thing right, you're going to get caught up in the middle. More than likely, wrong decisions are going to be made. And I can tell you all the time, Hagar was probably thinking once Isaac was born that Ishmael probably was getting treated different anyway. And then she began to think about her own son. I know that from experience. You put all into another family and you feel that you rejected your own. And that thing live with you, man. Like I said, I may have to die with this. It is what it is. So I can talk to you from experience. Blended family. I can tell you what I gained and what I lost. What I gained out of it was experience and being in a blended family. What I lost is something and people that meant a lot to me. It may not be totally lost, but at this point in time, we don't know if it's even salvageable. But I shall live my life and continue. I just want to share that with you and think about it before you bring kids into blended families. And now what we're going to do is we're going to let you look at K Meal of the Day, and we're going to introduce you again to our mystery building, stimulate your thinking, critical thinking. I didn't do a lot as far as spiritual understanding. I wanted you to see a story, life story. Whether you think scripture is true or not, it has wonderful life stories that helps in today's time. And it's a wealth of knowledge for you. If you can't get it anywhere, so I hope, if nothing else, you got that out of what we just talked about. And we're going to talk about Israel. We're going to talk about Ishmael. And we're going to keep it going before we really move on. But I just want to share those things with you, especially when we're dealing with the woes of a blended family. And at that point, we had two nations, Ishmael, Isaac, a nation blended, divided. Thank you for listening. I ask you to keep tuning in. Appreciate you all my listeners, everybody that tune in. I appreciate you much. I really, really do. Just to take the time and the effort, sit down and commune with Kay and I. So just keep doing it. Keep looking up. Tell other people. I know, like I said, some things I say make you uncomfortable. You need to be uncomfortable. You've probably been comfortable too long anyway. Sitting up in that place, thinking you got it, thinking you have arrived. That's not where it is. A lot of people, man, these Abraham and Isaac, Abraham and Sarah, they supposed to be knowing the Most High. They supposed to know the Lord. Look at how messy all this stuff look. So when you sitting in your place of worship, whether it's a synagogue, the mosque, or the building they call the church, don't be high and mighty. This same thing that went on with them probably going on in a lot of lives today. They're sitting in the mosque, the synagogue, and the church. All of y'all. Oh, it hits everybody. Yeah, that's why we do it. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification button. And we appreciate you guys. Until then, I'm going to say as I say, we out of here. What the flux?
What if almost everything you use today was invented over 5,000 years ago? In ancient Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, a forgotten civilization changed humanity forever. They were called the Sumerians, farmers, priests, engineers, and possibly history's greatest innovators. They faced floods, famine, and chaos. Survival demanded solutions no one had ever tried before. So they invented writing, the wheel, law codes, math, timekeeping, civilization itself. They even created a 60-minute hour, 24-hour day, contracts, schools, and organized cities. Other civilizations copied their ideas, but the Sumerians slowly disappeared. Yet their inventions became the foundation of Egypt, Rome, and the modern world. Every time you check the clock, sign a contract, or write a word, you're using Sumerian ideas. So why isn't this taught more clearly? Did the Sumerians invent civilization, or was something else guiding them? Like, comment, and subscribe if hidden history fascinates you.
Underground caves lined with millions of shells, and no one knows who built them. The Shell Grotto in Margate, Kent, England, stands as one of history's most baffling mysteries. Discovered in 1835, this hidden passageway is adorned with over 4.6 million meticulously arranged shells, forming elaborate mosaics that cover every inch of its walls and ceilings.